Hello, everyone. For as long as we've had dogs, we've wrestled with a really simple question. What do they actually prefer? A delicious treat or our affection? For decades, honestly, the answer was just guesswork. But what if we could actually look inside a dog's brain to find out for sure? Well, in this explainer, that's exactly what we're going to do. So before we dive into the how, let's just jump straight to the big takeaways from this groundbreaking Emory University study. Using fMRI scans, researchers discovered that for most dogs, their brains light up for praise just as much and sometimes even more than for food. It all comes down to a tiny part of the brain called the ventral caudate. And believe me, these findings are completely reshaping how we think about training and bonding with our dogs. For the longest time, the whole treats versus praise debate was just stuck. I mean, we could see a dog gobble down a treat, sure, but we had no way of knowing if that brought them more actual joy than hearing an excited good dog. All we could do is watch their behavior, not understand their internal feelings. And that gets to the absolute core challenge for a field like affective neuroscience, which is all about the neural basis of emotions. How do you objectively measure an internal feeling like preference in a subject that can't talk to you? To get past that, you need some seriously innovative thinking and technology. Well, the answer, it turns out, was to peek directly inside the canine mind using something called functional magnetic resonance imaging, or fMRI. This tech lets us see their brain activity in real time. So we're moving past just guessing and into the world of hard neurobiological data. Let's see how they did it. Now, getting this data was a monumental task. You can't just ask a dog to lie perfectly still inside a huge, noisy MRI machine. It took months and months of patient, positive training to get these dogs to voluntarily and happily participate. This wasn't forced at all. It was a true cooperative effort between humans and dogs. Okay, so as scientists, we have to be real here and talk about the limitations. This was pioneering stuff, and that usually means a small sample size. Plus, the noisy scanner environment is a variable you have to account for. And look, trying to interpret the brain activity of a whole other species, it's incredibly complex. These are real challenges, but they absolutely don't take away from how important these findings are. All right, let's get to the experiment itself. The beauty of this study is how elegant and simple its design was. The whole point was to isolate the brain's reaction to two very different but very common rewards in a dog's world. So, here's the setup. They pitted a primary reward, food, something they need to survive, against a purely social reward, praise and petting from their owner. By signaling which one was coming and then measuring the brain's anticipation, the researchers could directly compare how much the dog's brain valued each one. And this is where it gets really, really cool. After all that training, all that careful design, what did the scans actually show? What is happening inside a dog's brain when it thinks it's about to get a piece of hot dog versus some love from its owner? But before we look at the results, you need to know about the star of the show, the ventral caudate. This is a deep part of the brain, and it's a huge player in the reward pathway. It fires up when we expect something good is about to happen. It doesn't matter if you're a human expecting a bonus or a dog expecting, anything good. Think of it as the brain's, ooh, something awesome is coming, center. And here we can see exactly where that reward hub is located. When a dog anticipates something positive, this is the area that lights up like a Christmas tree. And the key thing is, the brighter it lights up, the more the dog values what's about to happen. It's a direct biological measurement of desire. And boom, here's the bombshell from the data. For most of the dogs in the study, the ventral caudate lit up just as much for praise as it did for food. And for some of them, it lit up even more for praise. This was it, the hard neurobiological proof that a social reward can be just as valuable, if not more so, than a food reward. This is a massive update to what we thought we knew. You see, older studies that were just based on watching behavior suggested that maybe dogs liked petting more than just hearing our voice. But this new fMRI data, it shows that our words alone, enthusiastic verbal praise, are powerful enough to fire up their core reward system. It's a much deeper look than we've ever had before. Okay, so brain scans are fascinating, but what's the so what here? What does all this lab data actually mean for you, for me, for anyone who lives with and loves a dog? How do we take this and use it in our living rooms? I think the lead researcher, Dr. Gregory Berns, really just said it perfectly. This isn't about throwing away your treat pouch, not at all. It's about recognizing that our social connection, our praise, our interaction, the bond itself, is an incredibly potent motivator for our dogs. Now, it's really important to remember that this is not a one-size-fits-all deal. The study showed a general trend, but every dog is an individual. Their unique life experiences, their training background, how strong their bond is with their owner, all of these things are going to shape whether they're a praise pup or a treat hound. And the fun part is, you can actually run some of these little experiments at home to figure out what your dog prefers. Try asking for a sit and rewarding only with super enthusiastic praise. Then try it with just a treat. Watch their whole body, the tail, the ears, the speed of their response. They'll tell you what they find more exciting. So what this research really does is it gives us a massive upgrade to our positive reinforcement toolkit. It tells us that praise and affection aren't just little add-ons. They can be high-value rewards all by themselves. It pushes us to be better observers and to customize our rewards to what our individual dog truly loves, which makes for way more effective and meaningful training. When you get right down to it, this science is just offering proof of something many of us have felt in our hearts for a long, long time. That look your dog gives you, that connection, it's not just about them wanting a cookie. It is a real, deep, social, and emotional bond. And now we actually have the brain scans to back that feeling up. You know, a study like this is so exciting because it doesn't just answer one question. It kicks open the door to entirely new ways of thinking and new questions to ask. It gives us a new set of tools for understanding the inner lives of these incredible animals we share our homes with. And that just leaves us with this incredible, provocative thought. We now have a proven way to non-invasively look inside a dog's mind. The question isn't if we can understand their emotions anymore. The real question is, what should we ask them next? We've got to give a huge shout out for this one. This entire explainer was based on a wonderfully detailed article from the experts over at Doggozilla magazine. They did a brilliant job breaking down some really complex science. So the next time you praise your dog, just take a second and remember this science. You're not just making sounds, you are literally lighting up a deep, powerful reward center in their brain. Thanks so much for joining me to explore the amazing science behind that simple phrase, good dog.